Gassim Cement, the Nation Builder, and Belacqua Mineral Water. It was a close and tense count brought on by a court order. In the end, the NDC was in the lead by 16 votes. The MPP then demanded a recollection. As we speak, that recollection is ongoing in the all-important Senate West race, which will decide the balance in Parliament. I want to take you there live right now to my colleague Erastus Asari Donko, who has been monitoring the unfolding events for us live right now. It's done right now, and I want to bring him in with some breaking news. Hello, Erastus.
Yes, Eva.
What do we know?
So after the recollation of the figures, in fact, all the parties agreed they must go through the collation again for Senate West. And so they did that painstakingly, going by polling station by polling station. They are done as we speak. Now, all the parties have agreed. The figures certified now are the NPP 13,100, 13,100, NDC 13,116, 13,116, NDP 191, NDP 191, total valid votes 26,407, rejected ballot 660. Total votes cast 27,067. And so it puts the NDC's candidate for Senate West as the winner of the Senate West parliamentary election.
Erasmus, stay with me. If you're just joining us right now, the much disputed, much anticipated, all important Senate West parliamentary seat, which will decide the balance of power in Parliament, has now been decided and officially declared by the Electoral Commission and has been won by the NDC with a slim margin of 16 votes. And Erastus, this was on the back of a court order, and then even when this happened, the NPP had complaints about the process of tabulating, collating the results at the beginning. When the first count happened, they disputed it. Give us a sense of why they wanted this recollated.
Well, so they looked at some of the figures, the subtotals, and they detected that they do not tally. And so they decided that why don't we go over all the figures, collate all of them again, polling station by polling station, to be sure, because the margin is slim. And so, yes, all the parties agreed. In fact, it was a very peaceful exercise. All of them united in sitting around a round table here at the divisional command, going by their calculators, going by polling station, and then going by subtotal before the grand total, and then all of them agreed that they have the same figures. And so they have agreed. Currently, as I speak to you, all the agents, NPP, NDC, are appending their signatures to the summary sheet containing these figures that I've just given you. And so that was the reason why they wanted to go over the results. And that was not disagreed by the NDC, which is led by Johnson Asiedin Titia himself. They agreed that, yes, to find peace and a common ground, they needed to go over the collation again. They have done that. All parties are now satisfied, and they are pending their signatures to the summary sheet.
Erastus, you are in that room where the signatures are being appended to this final declaration, the sheet there. We need to get some reactions to this as it is unfolding right now. Now, what does this mean for the balance of power in Parliament? What it means is currently, if you're working with officially declared results from the Electoral Commission, and there's a statement they put out recently, then this will mean that the NDC will have 137 seats in Parliament. The MPP will also have 137 seats in Parliament, and then there will be one independent. none of the two parties have a clear majority in the House. That will fall on the business that will be done by the independent candidate. This is why the Senate seat was so crucial. Now, you have to throw in the other big complication of the Techiman South constituency, where the NDC is mounting a protest and challenging that particular process that led to the declaration of the results there. They insist that they won that particular seat and that the declaration was done illegally and that they are challenging that and that seat was won by them. That is in contest also. But as we stand now, working with what the Electoral Commission has declared, the Senate West seat, which has just been won by the NDC, means the NDC and the MPP will be split down the middle in Parliament with equal number of seats, 137 in Parliament with one independent. I want to go live now. Stay with me, Erasto. Stay with me because there's a lot to go through for our listeners to understand why and how we got where we are tonight. Joining me on the line right now is Mr. Dan Boche, MP for Kre, and he was representing the MPP as the agent in Senate West and supervising the collation. In fact, I may surmise, may have requested for the recollation to be done. Mr. Dan Boche, thank you for your time here on Top Story. Just clarify for me, the MPP accepts the results as declared right now?
Well, they have to declare the results. We are now filling the final sheet. So the Electoral Commission will declare the results. They are yet to do that. I'm sure they may do that in the next 5-10 minutes.
As it stands now, our reporter reports that you have 13,100 votes. The NDC has 13,016 votes. Are these the same votes that you have tabulated and agreed to?
Yeah, we have 13,100 and we have 13,116.
Yes.
NDP had 191 and rejected vote 6-0.
These results is what you also have, and you can confirm that this is an
actual reflection. We all have these results. Yes.
It means that you concede defeat in this area, in this internal West.
Yes. The NDC have 16 votes, 16 votes more than our candidate.
Why did you ask for recollation?
We have to do it because it's very close. It's important to note that in the presidential, the NDC candidate had 6,800 votes more than our presidential candidate, 6,800. So if you have a parliamentary results, which is that close, you really want to go through it very well. And 16 votes different, there's a justification to want to do collation and recollation to satisfy yourself.
And I guess you're satisfied now.
Oh, yes. We're satisfied because we are with it's not as if we came from Accra to do it. We are with the constituency and the regional party. And the regional constituency secretary, deputy secretary, our elections officer had his data with us. We went through as they collated one by one in all the 83 police stations. He agreed with all the figures, and it was clear on his laptop, and he concurred with what has been said. So our affirmation of it is really that of the constituency party, because they have collated 83 already, police stations already, before we came today, you understand? So every affirmation is that of the constituency party, supported by the region, and then they are okay.
Stay with me, Mr. Damboche, because your friend and colleague from the other side, Baba Jamal, who was in the room with you, understand he's a member of the NDC legal team, also joins us right now. Mr. Baba Jamal, I guess.
Baba Jamal is not here.
Oh, he's not there. I mean, I saw him around in the open.
Unfortunately, I left there earlier.
Okay.
I am not there with them.
Okay.
I, as you heard earlier, I was supposed to be holding the key to the ballot box. But that key was actually not with me. I gave it to somebody who was holding it. So as I talk to you currently, I'm not in Techima.
Okay, but you raise a very important point, and people need to understand when you say the key. This is what made the Senate West so contentious. The ballot box was snatched by an individual who was arrested, tried, and has been jailed now. And that particular ballot box that was snatched now became a contentious matter. The MPP decides to go to court because they were unhappy that their seal was broken. The NDC seal and the EC seal were intact. Today, the court threw out the MPP suit. And of course, that paves way for the EC to do the counting. Now, when that happened, we understand, Mr. Babajamal confirmed for me, that the MPP had issues because they couldn't find the key to your seal, but you had it, and so it delayed the process a bit. That's what you explained by the key was with you.
Yes, the key. When I was there earlier, I was in Tajima for 3 days. I had to rush down because of another development issue in Accra. That when I was in Wenchi the day after we went to court, when I was informed that some people wanted to go and tamper with the ballot box at the police station. So I had to drive from Wenchi to Techima. When I got there, there were 2 padlocks on the door. And to be sure of ourselves, I decided I requested the police to allow me to add another padlock so that we are sure of the ballot box. That is what I did, and I actually gave the key to one of our election directors to hold it until when it is needed. So today, when my name was being mentioned all around the place, I called the general secretary and told him where the key was, and I think that they got the key and got access to the box. And when it was counted, my information is that when we won the seat with 16 votes.
Yes, you did. I mean, and I was going to say congratulations to you because I saw you all day there. Mr. Namboche, that was an issue in the beginning. This was won to court. I'm assuming, were you in court when this played out and you had issues with the key not being around and the counting and everything, but in the end, you were happy with the process?
Oh, yes. After the court process, we all came here and the NDC were insisting that until they get the key, they will not allow the count to take place. But it's important, Evans, to note that it wasn't MPP who put on the padlock. And that when they put on the padlock, MPP did not put as well. If the news was that MPP had added the padlock to the where the boss was being kept without NDC, I'm sure it would have been a major news in town today. But it's important to note that it's only NDC who added their padlock to it, and then we had to delay because of the key, and they finally had to break the seal to get access to the as it may. I think we are through with it, and it's important that we had a candidate who have been able to reach the gap to 16. And you are talking about Senate West, and if you check the figures for the past years, it means that the voters really voted for our candidate, and it's unfortunate he lost by only 16 votes, and we'll take it from there.
Just as you mentioned that, I need to fill in our listeners on the history of Senate West. Very brief, because in 2016, the NDC won it, but they won it with 1,482 votes in 2016. Today is been narrowed to 16. Mr. Babajamal, what's your reaction to the outcome?
No, we are not too surprised with the results because we know this year a lot of things went on the ground in terms of campaigning, financial inducements, and all those things. And also, our candidate, this is about his second or third time, and for that matter, he would definitely be incurring some displeasure from people. So we were sure of winning the seat, but we're surprised that the gap is so close, even though we knew that the gap will close, but not to that extent. But be it as it may, we are happy we have won the seat. We now have 167 seats confirmed. But let me clarify this. It is not only NDC which had a padlock on the door. The police commander, the police also had their own padlock on the door. So it was not that of only NDC, but the police also had their padlock on the door, which they had their key, and I am informed that the key was with the commander. So the ballot box was safe under the lock and key of the police in Bono East.
The key question now remains, Mr. Damboche. This, I guess, settles the balance of power in Parliament. You will have 137, NDC will have 137. None of you have a majority.
The independent candidate is voting with the New Patriotic Party. It's the voting which matters. It's not really. But the important thing that at any time we are voting, we have 138 votes. And maybe some NDC may even vote alongside of us.
Baba Jama, what do you say to that?
We have not still accepted the fact that Techiman South is finished. Because Techiman South, we still insist that there was no coalition and whatever declaration that was done there was not legal. We also are contesting that where a secret declaration was done by the EC at a secret location where NDC didn't have its people. We also contesting Seviwi also, where the declaration there we see it as illegal. We also contesting Takwa Nsuayim and Eskado Kitan. So, and in fact, Lambu for that.
I think the issue is
please, all these seats are seats that we are going to contest. But if you want to go with what the Electoral Commission is saying, then we have 137. Then they also have 137. We have had the declaration by the independent candidate that is going with MPP. That does not deter us from holding government to do the right things in Parliament.
Mr. Boche.
Thank you, Evans. We go with what the Electoral Commission has stated now. Of course, some of the constituency parties have problem with Banda, Savili, other places. But the important thing is that for now, we go with what the Electoral Commission has declared, and that is the 137 with the independent candidate going with the party. Therefore, we have a majority in Parliament, 138. For me, that is the most important.
Let me clarify. Technically, you've been in Parliament for long, and so you can also chip in on this. Technically, the MPP does not have a majority. You don't.
Evans, we talk about majority voting.
Okay.
The part that you have a party, what about if a member of the party decides to vote against a party stance? Are you saying that? Because when there's an issue, we rise up and they count the vote. They don't say that, you came to Parliament with 169 and NDC has 106, therefore automatically NPP has won. We always count, don't we? We always start up to be counted. So at any point in time, it is the voting that takes place and who votes for a particular issue.
So, what did this?
For example, if you go to on the 7th of January or on the night of the 6th, we are electing a speaker, and there are 138 people voting for a particular person and 137, who wins?
You win. I mean, if this comes down to it.
And then when you win, it means that you have the majority, isn't it?
I mean, but yeah, Mr. Jamal. So that is what it is with if you work with the EC results.
I agree with him. On simple majority, they have the majority in Parliament. You understand?
Yes, we have.
When they only they can always, because we have been in Parliament before and I know that how they coordinate to get everybody online, especially when it comes to issues of voting. But if they can mobilize all their people on each issue and vote 138 against the
that is parliamentary business. I will certainly do that.
But on the face of it, they have the majority. They've gotten the 138. For now, that is what the Electoral Committee is saying. So we will go by that officially. But we know that when it comes to voting in Parliament, government is always at the losing end because not always will he have all his members on the floor of the House. But if they can mobilize that is fine. But for now, we will go by what the Electoral Commission
give me clarity. You say you say you have issues with Techiman South. Is the party filing a court case at the High Court?
We are definitely going to court on Techiman South. Before we go, there are certain issues that will be dealt with. But definitely we are contesting it. There's no way about that. We are contesting Seviwi, no doubt about that. I'm giving about 5 constituencies that surely we will be using all legal means possible to ensure that those seats are redeemed.
Mr. Butcher, I understand you're also contesting 10.
Oh, sure. There are other areas we will contest, and the party headquarters is going to take that one up, Evans. But for now, we will have to do settlement.
Okay, great. Mr. Butcher, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks so much.
Baba Jamal also. Baba Jamal, just finally before you go now, so this has been settled for you in Senate West. It gives clarity on what the situation in Parliament is going to be. But on the national picture, the presidential level, there seemed to be some sort of, the clarity with which you say that in the parliamentary seats you contest, you're going to go to court. We haven't had the same clarity with the presidential results. Is there any clarity as of now yet on that?
Yes, I don't know whether your colleagues were at the party headquarters today. There was a press conference that gives some evidence of the presidential elections being seriously flawed. It's a flawed election. That's why we have rejected it. We are in the process of putting all our arsenals together. At the appropriate time, we'll come back to the public as to the way forward. For now, we have not given up on that. We have rejected the results, and I can assure you that we'll continue to gather every single information and make sure that going forward, the presidential is also dealt with accordingly.
But per the rules and the procedures, your 21 days is counting. You are running out of time on this. Have you set the deadline by which you should have clearly communicated?
Do you remember the time MPP decided to go to court in 2012?
They went on the 28th, so that if you calculate it from the 7th...
Okay, so we still have time to think about that, if that is the option we are going to choose. You understand? Because all the options are open on the table for us. So if that is the option, I can assure you that before the time runs out, we'll come out to the public.
Mr. Jamal, thank you very much. Baba Jamal is a member of the NDC legal team there. If you're just joining us, the news coming out of Senate West tonight is that the NDC has won that disputed elections at the parliamentary level. And they won it with a slim majority of 16 votes. And in the actual number of votes tallied so far, the MPP came through with 13,100 votes, and the NDC 13,116 votes. That is a 16 vote margin there that the NDC won it by. And it clarifies the situation in Parliament for the next 4 years. Officially, with the Electoral Commission numbers, what this means tonight is that the NPP will have 137 seats and the NDC will have 137 seats. You've heard Dambocho say that, of course, they're expecting that when they are voting, they'll have an extra vote from the independent candidate, and they believe that will decide matters for them. If you talk to the NDC, and as we just heard them articulate, they are disputing at least Techiman South, and they say they are definitely going to go to court on that particular one because they believe if that comes through for them, then of course they will have the majority in the House. That's the picture in Parliament tonight, with the Senate West seat now firmly decided. A short while ago, Johnson Asiru Nketia, who led the party's delegation to monitor the Senate West counting, gave this reaction.
We can confidently say that the people of Senate West have elected their members. We expect that in Techiman South we will verify the facts, and then we will know who the people of Techiman South have elected as their leaders. And then the people of Ghana will have to go through a similar transparent process to find out who the people of Ghana have elected as their president. Anything short of that amounts to dictatorship or imposition of leadership. I believe that is what our forefathers fought against.
That is Johnson Asiru Nketia there a short while ago after the Electoral Commission finished the recollation asked for by the New Patriotic Party. There's more on this unfolding story, and tonight in the next few minutes on Newsnight, with both sides now having 137 seats in Parliament, the minority is readying itself for a fight with the MPP for the speakership and leadership of the House. The minority has its game plan on. We'll hear from Haruna Idrisu here on your election headquarters. Stay with us.
By 10 a.m., 5 million Ghanaians have you heard at least twice in the trotro, in the queue for Hajia's watching, and at the cocoa joints around the corner.
So, have you